Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. I love the fact that everybody is talking about Kendrick Lamar, his performance, right? I am going to say I love everything he did on that stage because that was pure art. And I love the fact that Kendrick Lamar is doing all he can or all he could to bring infuse and our black culture, black politics, and every other thing into most of his performance. And if you are not comfortable with that, that it's your problem. Because I am sick, I'm tired of waking up to British coming out to give false narrative about black people. Now I am going to say this: if you do not understand American politics, I think the best thing to do is to pick a book or do not talk about it. You can learn because, I mean, the internet is all out there for you. But when you come out, I mean, like Super Bowl, right, wasn't actually for you, right? It was for the people that know the culture. So who are you to come out to tell black people that you wanted to, like, that was very boring, that you wanted to come and boogie? What are you boogieing? When you finish boogieing, what is happening to black people will still be happening to them. So I would rather let them speak up and talk about what is going on among themselves than thinking of bringing your butts to come and shake for who? I mean, you all should get it together. Let's get into this video.
I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book.
When people are talking about the rise of anti-intellectualism, this is exactly what they're talking about. How can you come on your platform of more than 1 million people and confidently say that you want something as simple as a Super Bowl halftime show to be further dumbed down for the likes of you, and you're not even embarrassed when you say stuff like that? The fact that it's on the Super Bowl means that it's been checked and cleared by a committee. Probably hundreds, if not thousands of people have looked through that and made sure that the messaging is not too revolutionary, and you're still asking for it to be dumbed down. I think this speaks to a larger issue that I'm starting to realize with influencers who have millions of followers. They do not want a revolution. Why would they?
Like, I just want to dance.
When people are talking about changing the status quo and shaking the table, bro, they're at that table. Why would they want it to be shaken? They just want you to smile and remain distracted, and they want you to eat your peanuts and enjoy the circus. That's about it.
Really mediocre for me. Maybe because I'm not a hardcore Kendrick fan. Samuel Jackson come on as Uncle Tom. One thing I cannot stand is fake deepness.
I'm convinced radicalism, resistance, and spreading awareness is only a Black American thing. Radicalism, resistance, and spreading awareness is only a Black American thing. Because if you look at the people throughout the Black people throughout the Black diaspora, they're okay with just running water and making it home safe after losing a soccer game or football game. They're okay with the bare minimum. They don't want to be treated as equals. They're okay with being submissive and entertained. Look at all they artists. I'll say this and I'll say it again. Their artists never shine light on anything that's going on in Africa. They just shut up and perform. Shut up and dribble. That's perfect. Even what's going on in the UK, any atrocities against them, they don't even speak out about it. They fit the guidelines of this system perfectly because it's not going to be any resistance, right? But when they want to talk about Black Americans, they let that spew out freely. Uncle Tom, huh? That's telling. Where's the UK or African Kendrick Lamar?
I love the fact that being a hater can end up being a success. But this performance, I just thought it was really mediocre for me. One thing I cannot stand is fake deepness. I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book.
Let's start here. You don't love Kendrick. You don't understand Kendrick. You can't say what you have just said and actually love Kendrick. You like drama. You like Black American drama, to be more specific. And you like the fact that he had this beef. And I would bet money that you don't know anything about him besides that. So prefacing this horrific opinion with the fact that you love Kendrick is bullshit. Because there is no way you can actually say that you listen to Kendrick Lamar and then turn around and brag about not wanting to fucking think. That shit makes no sense. Not that long ago, I was watching Eat, Love, Slay. And it was like a mini series on Peacock where Nivea was going on a birthday vacation. And one of the people who went on vacation with her was London, who is a comedian from the UK who now lives in America. One of the things that I thought that was quite interesting was when Tammy told her that she grew up in Baltimore, her initial response was, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that." And Tammy was like, "What are you apologizing for?" Right? And she goes on to talk about how she knows how bad Baltimore is because she watched The Wire. And then she proceeded on to say how when they learned about Black American culture in her school, the way they learned about it was that they would make them watch Black American cinema. So like things like Boys in the Hood and The Wire. It really does demonstrate the concerted effort between white people all over this planet to ensure that everybody else has a negative perspective of Black Americans. Instead of teaching proper history, teaching about the things that we invented, teaching about the ways that we have invested in this country, in our contributions to society as a whole, you showed rooms full of impressionable children, Black cinema, to indoctrinate them into the belief that that is how all Black Americans lived. She then turned around and couldn't understand why Tammy got on her about her ignorance. She thought it was justifiable. There was no nuance, right? There was no critical thinking about this. Nothing in her mind says, oh, movies are not real life. She just flat out believed it. It benefits them for you to look at us as a problem. Otherwise, you may emulate what we do. Won't read a book, won't educate yourself on the culture, and that's fine. You don't have to. But if you're going to speak on us, the least you can do is educate yourself. The reason why this bothers me so much with this clip is that y'all will yell to the top of your fucking lungs that we do not have culture, that we don't know who we are, that we are loud and self-centered and all of these other things. And then a performance like Kendrick's comes across. And this is not the first time I've seen this type of rhetoric. But Kendrick's performance comes on and you got the nerve to part your lips and say that it was lackluster because you don't have the capacity to understand it. You're literally regurgitating white supremacist propaganda and narrative. That's what they do. Anything that they can't understand, anything that they don't have the capacity to digest, they shit on. And that's what you're doing. And what's so frustrating is that y'all don't hesitate to talk shit about us. You don't hesitate to create full opinions about us, but you will hesitate to actually study us and educate yourself on us. You refer to Uncle Sam as Uncle Tom, and I'm pretty sure you don't know who either of them are. You don't understand why we don't have the privilege to let entertainment just be entertainment. You don't understand what it's going to cost Kendrick to do what he did on that stage. And you don't care because you just want to be entertained because you feel separated from it. You don't understand that whatever is coming down the pipeline for us will trickle down to these other fucking countries. You are drinking a Kool-Aid that has convinced you that because you have assimilated yourself to European cultures, because you have learned the properness, because you know how to fit yourself into their raggedy ass society, that you are somehow the better Black. Being docile is not going to keep you safe. In fact, it's going to make you an easier fucking target. Y'all need to watch your fucking mouths. That's what I came to say.
Now,
You know, one of the biggest issues when it comes to Black British people and Black Americans is the fact that Black British people on podcasts, which podcasts don't represent everyone, right? But on podcasts, unsolicited, without any knowledge, without the bandwidth, continuously give their commentary and provide commentary about Black Americans. And it would be one thing if you knew what you were talking about, but it's been a consistent thing for the past 2 years that you'll come online, make all these statements without having any knowledge or the aptitude to even try to learn before you speak. In contrast, when Black Americans or anybody from the Americas comes online and talks about Black Brits, including myself, it is usually always in response to something that was said unsolicited. And it's always to correct you guys about what you're doing and always to provide knowledge. Like you can't just willy-nilly talk about Black people like we're the same. Black people in America had zero exposure of Black Brits. I mean, little to none. I knew about Black Brits was Slick Rick, Idris Elba, Sade, and Estelle. Other than that, Black British people do not make a dent in American culture or American society. So that you're trying to say, well, Black people in America talk about Brits. No, we don't. It's always in response to whatever you guys are saying and in response to what you're saying about us, which I think you're warranted to do. And the incessant need to insert yourself into Americans' business is why this continues to occur. To say that, things don't only happen to Americans. Black people in America aren't the only Black people. Did I say they were? We're talking about an American sporting event, the biggest day on American TV, an American rapper who put American messaging in his performance. Why would I be talking about the UK? Why are you even comparing yourself? Why are you bringing yourself up? You're getting obsessed. But I'll say all of that to say, we have the opportunity as the diaspora to actually learn from each other. But the problem is that we are all We all developed in silos and we're all who we are, right? And the fact that we look the same, we have the same skin and we have the same phenotype, I think it really fucks us up with understanding just how different we are and understanding that we can't comment on each other. Because one would assume that we're all the same. That's a normal assessment, especially since a lot of us have the same history of where we're originated from, same movement of bodies, just in different directions. But we're all different, babe. We're all different.
I feel like the problem with Madam Joyce is she had a major case of FOMO. And what I mean by that is when you're a content creator or when you're somebody who has a podcast, you're constantly wanting to talk about the hot topics because that's what gets the views. Even if it's temporary, right? You always have to kind of be on top of those hot topics. What other topic was hotter this last week than the Super Bowl? We all knew that that was going to be a hot topic. So she wanted to be a part of that conversation, but didn't bother to do any research behind, first of all, who Kendrick Lamar even is as an artist. Because if you are a Kendrick fan, okay, you know that this is exactly what we were expecting from Kendrick, period. Like, number one, that can't even be debated. So you're not a Kendrick fan. But also on top of it, like, literally the political climate that we're in right now, like, girl, read the room. Like,
so that madam, whoever, like, I don't really remember her name, but the girl of African descent who gave that incredibly terrible take on the Super Bowl halftime performance, yeah, her podcast is produced by Shits and Gigs. I don't know if that would lead to any inclination of everything that you should expect, but yeah, let's really get into it. To sit there and say, I don't want to think, I just want to be entertained, shows a level of privilege that I cannot even fathom to begin to try to understand. That is the exact thing that Kendrick was talking about in this entire performance. The fact that we've become so numb to actually being critical, using our critical thinking brains, and we just want to be entertained. You live in a country that colonized almost the entirety of the Western world. And you're sitting there saying, yeah, I know that he wants to talk about this thing that happened to my ancestors, because make no mistake, they are also your ancestors. They're not just ancestors of the fucking black people in America. To sit there and say that, yeah, I just don't want to have to go through a history lesson when I'm watching a football game. First of all, your country doesn't even have football. Let's start there. Secondly, your ancestors, because make no mistake, we're all of African fucking descent. Your ancestors were abused, raped, hanged, tortured, and he's trying to bring light to the fact that they're trying to take us back 180 fucking years, and you're sitting here saying, oh, I really wanted to get people, what do you want people to get on the stage and twerk and shake their ass? And you do not even understand the political climate of our country for you to even be able to comment or have any type of commentary on what's going on. And I'm sorry, you guys can forward me clips where she's talking about the political climate of our country and saying how whatever is bad, but I haven't seen any clips like that. All I saw was clips of her criticizing Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, saying it's boring, saying it wasn't entertaining, saying she didn't want to have to think. I swear, some of you will go to a feast of intelligence and still choose to starve. Imagine us being here, fighting for our lives. These artists are putting up, they're actually harming themselves, right? To fight for us, to show the world that we are more than just what they say we are. These artists are actually using their artistry to influence for something good. And you who have influence decide to say something like this. I need a better word than ignorant for this. Final thoughts is, if you have nothing nice to say or nothing constructive to add to the conversation, how about you just fill your mouth with soggy toast and beans and shut the fuck up? And I know it seems like I'm just throwing shade at this particular individual. That is not it. This is for everybody who has had this take of, oh, it's supposed to be entertainment. It's not supposed to be this political stance. Every fucking thing is a political stance in this world, in this life. Your morals, your ethics, everything is differentiated based on how you choose to present to the world and the impact you choose to have on the world. So don't sit there and say like, oh, it's not supposed to be a political stance. I'm not supposed to think. I'm only supposed to be entertained. entertained, because that just shows your ignorance. Again, intelligence is a feast. Take bread off the table. Get a little slice of turkey. Do something. But you cannot have these horrible takes while also being produced. You know what? Y'all got it.
There is obviously like a rise in anti-intellectualism. I think Trump being elected more than once is like the biggest evidence that we have in like modern time that there is something against people who actually have any crumb of intelligence or high IQ. But I also think that there's kind of always been something against anti-intellectuals. Like, you know, there's names for people who like people think that are smart, like neeks, nerds, geeks, whatever it is. Like, people have always made fun of people who are smart, right? I don't think it's actually that new. I think there was a time where people started to like let their freak fly, like let their neek flag fly. I started to like themselves. I started to realize that being like dumb is not a flex. Like, it's actually mad embarrassing. Like, but I think now there's like, it's pushback now, because now people are feeling disenfranchised by intelligent people. I feel like like this and some type of depression. I don't know what's going on with them. But I say all this to say that I don't believe that Madam Joyce is like the instrument or the instigator of this kind of like newfound confidence in being like a stupid idiot. I personally feel like many of us, not me, but many of you guys have friends who would have the exact same take as Madam Joyce, and I know because I went to school with them. I know them. I knew them when they were in my class. They were I knew those kids. Like, we've been having them like for like the past decade. They've been around, guys. Like, it's just that some of those people got famous. I don't actually got it to say like most of the people who are famous are people who are not intellectuals, because that's who is going around telling everybody that we shouldn't be going to school and that we shouldn't, like, that not everybody needs to pass their GCSEs or whatever. Like, those are the people. I don't know if you've ever met somebody who has a degree who's ever said to anybody, oh, you shouldn't go to school, you shouldn't educate yourself. It's only those types of people that ever say that. So I don't think we should be focusing all this like hate on her one take, to be honest. I think she's literally just like any other bitch. Like, she's just one of these loser cool kids that got famous. It's embarrassing, isn't it? But I don't know if we should be directing, because she didn't create racism. Like, she's not the reason why Kendrick Lamar had to do the performance in the first place. Like, she's just some bitch that just got famous. Like, she's not an intelligent person, sure, but I don't know if that warrants the whole, like, the way people have gone angry at her. Like, I feel like there's bare people who would have the same take as her. Like, so I just don't get why everyone's angry. I do get why everyone's angry, but I just think it's misplaced anger, and we should probably just like, I honestly think she should just be ignored. One thing I cannot stand is fake deepness. I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book.
You know, Madame Joyce does not speak for every single black British person with regards to the Super Bowl. You know that, right? Please do not paint me with that same brush. Takes like this literally make the divide between black people throughout the entire diaspora all the more greater. If you cannot be entertained whilst also using your brain critically, then my dear, you have brain rot. And I'm actually going to go there today. I think it's a common misconception with some black British people that think that it's only the African Americans that can be stereotypically ignorant because of what their history or whatever it may have you. No, bro. Because takes like this remind me that there's absolutely ignorance on both sides, and we cannot pride ourselves on being the educated bunch if we're spewing this amount of arrogant, nonsensical blabber on a daily basis for free. Not to mention that this take is literally about a performance that's supposed to be unifying, entertaining, and showing solidarity about a variety of causes and things going around the world. So I'm sorry, if you honestly cannot connect the dots while still being able to seek entertainment in the artistry, you, my dear, have a broken brain.
Fake deepness. I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think.
And that right there is your problem. You didn't think at all. Once again, a black British person opens their mouth and shows again how uneducated they are. Why do y'all feel the need to talk on Black American and American history when you don't know shit? And you know what? You don't have to know shit, but stop speaking on it. This is American fucking sport that's based that has so much rooted in history. Black history is American history. So, of course, in times that are like this, where they're getting rid of DEI and all that stuff, he's showing symbolism. It's like, it doesn't make sense. If I don't understand anything, why am I speaking on it? You see how that doesn't make sense? And then when you said this BS,
As Samuel Jackson come on as Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom? Do you even know what Uncle Tom is? And correction, it was Uncle Sam. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know the words that you're saying at this point. If you can't be entertained and use your critical thinking at the same time, I don't know what to tell you. It's crazy how I just saw a think piece of a white Irish woman breaking down the symbolism. She's not even American. I felt unity in that. I felt empowered in watching that performance. And you're gonna sit your ass in there and say that. For you to sit there and say fake deepness shows how much ignorance and privilege you sit on. If you don't get it, cool. Get this. When Kendrick says they not like us, y'all included in that.
There are just some people that in this life, I don't think they have ever had a bright thought or idea in their life. If I'm being very honest, I don't think they've had a thought before. Or if they have, it has always been more evidence that they are actually not really thinking. Every time they try to speak, it never sounds like their brain and mouth have ever found harmony. And it's funny because some of these people have very big platforms with a lot of listeners, subscribers, watchers, audiences, where they go on to spew the most thoughtless things about topics that they are very uneducated about. But because everyone is talking about it, they want to jump on the trend too, forgetting that they do not have the skill or mental range to handle it. Which is even worse because some of them know they do not have the skill range to handle such discussions, but they still engage in it, but they want to be different. So they're going to say very stupid, off-putting things. Like, for example, you're witnessing a history-altering event that is not just entertaining, but is beyond entertaining. It is necessary, considering the amount of discourses that that event has brought up. But because, one, you feel like the discussions that are stemming from this event are not your business, which, mind you, in some way, shape, or form, they still are, and because you do not have the brain power to dissect issues beyond, jaye, you open your mouth to say, oh, the Super Bowl is not supposed to be something that will make me think. I didn't go to the Super Bowl to think. I went to the Super Bowl to dance. The Super Bowl halftime show is supposed to be about dancing. Why do I feel like I'm being made to write a school paper? Baby, have you ever been in the four walls of a school? And if you have, I have a lot of questions for both your parents and your teacher. Because what happened to trying to give you some critical thinking skills? Are busy that you just refuse to think? You guys are surprised when this same person came on this same internet to talk about Chloe Bailey and how she was acting a sex scene and it was wrong. Talking about she doesn't know where she's going with her brand. But then in the same breath, praised the man that she was in that sex scene with for a movie with 2 adults. A lot of you found out that she didn't have sense in December after that entire discourse. But some of us have known. This is not new. Don't pay attention to her. She is part of the distraction. Pay attention to what the event is trying to tell you. I know she's making a lot of Africans look bad, but we don't know her, okay?
So this is all I got from this video, and immediately I saw this video, I knew they were also about to stir up something. Now, let me say this. If you cannot relate to some people's problem or to some people's political, different people with their different politics and issues and the rest of it, if you are not competent to talk about it, I think the best thing to do is to shut up instead of coming out to make a mess of yourself. Why am I saying this? Hold on. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because at this particular point in time in Black people's lives, right, especially the ones in America, you see what Kendrick Lamar did was absolutely needed. And for some people that thought it is all about entertainment and boogie and the rest of it, at this point, this is beyond coming out to boogie, right? Message was passed. People received it. And with everything going on with the politics and the way America is, if you think that what happened there was just normal, you need to rethink. And you cannot be a Kendrick Lamar's fan. Like she said, she is a fan. Well, trust me, you are not anything close to fan, because if you are a fan, you absolutely will understand what happened there and enjoy it. Enjoy it. If you are not enjoying that, you must be listening to the message that is being passed across, because that message was obvious, it was vivid, it was all over revolution, right? Now, the problem with some people is that some people are not smart enough, but they are not ready to accept that they are not smart. If you do not know anything about history, the best you can do yourself is shut up. Black British have been, I don't know, but they have been showing this kind of negative energy towards Black Americans. I don't know why. Not all of them. I'm not going to say. But each day we wake up, we see someone with microphone, all these podcasters. I don't know who is selling all those equipments to them, but I think there is need to review the people that buy podcast equipment, because some of them are abusing the privilege. This woman has over 2 million something following. Her platform is huge, right? And the best she could do with her platform is to give false information or talk something that is not real. That really is off it. I am not going to lie to you. That is off it. And if you all are going to keep doing something like this all the time, trust me, you all wake up and tell Black Americans that they do not have culture. But the same you people are out there copying them and doing their thing. So who is the person that do not have culture? That looks like you that is copying another person. Because let me see your own culture. You that is telling somebody they do not have culture is copying the one you are telling they do not have culture. The irony of life. They always have opinion. They always have something to say when it comes to Black people, Black Americans, because she is also Black. I don't know where she is. She's British and African. I don't know where she is from in Africa. I don't know. I am not certain, but I am not going to start dabbling and all that. But please, your own ancestors, except for majority of them, British Americans, do not even know their history. Unfortunately, right? Your own ancestors were also raped and the rest of them. And I did not hear you people talk about what is happening to you people out there. But now the people that are very vocal about the way things are going on around them when it comes to politics, you all have something to talk about. And I love the fact that people are calling her out on that BS, because that is a total BS. And please, enough of all this waking up every day to Black people, because I really do not understand. I hope a lot of people are trying to enlighten themselves and understand that all these they come online to do probably for views will not. Maybe today it might give them the money, but in some years to come, it probably will give you bad name. I mean, that is how I say it. But I don't know how they are saying it. I would rather be on the positive side of history and not making enough than being on the wrong side of it and making so much. And in the end, it gets like I might be caught up in it. I don't know if that does make sense, but that is how I say it. We all can do better, because so far, when you are able to help people, I mean, like amplify your voice or your voices for other people, when it is your own turn, they will return the favor and even do better. Enough of all this BS, because it is no longer given. And if you think what Kendrick Lamar did wasn't good enough, I think you need to pick a book, or you need to know exactly what is going on in America, because some of you do not even know what is going on. But you come online to deceive your followers with English or British accent, which ain't British, right? Drop that accent and pick a book. And if that ends up to be the only accent you have, go pick a book, because you need to read a book to understand what is going on. This is where I am going to draw the curtain. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.